The world held its breath, cloaked in the final moments of deepest slumber, awaiting the touch of divine fire. In the east, a faint tremor rippled through the fabric of the cosmos, a prelude to the daily miracle. Deep within the hallowed chamber of the eastern horizon, the great sun god Ra stirred. His essence, potent and primordial, began to coalesce, drawing power from the very fabric of existence, from the prayers whispered by the waking faithful on the lands below, and from the deep, silent pact he held with Mad, the cosmic order. Slowly, majestically, Ra rose. His form, ancient as time yet vibrant with eternal youth, pulsed with a golden light that banished the lingering vestiges of the night. Around him, the celestial vessel, the Manjet boat, began to manifest, its timbers shimmering with the light of polished electrum, its sails unfurling like wings of spun gold. This was no mere boat, but a living extension of Ra's will, a conduit for his journey across the celestial ocean. Upon its deck, his divine crew assembled. Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom and writing, stood ready with his scrolls, his keen eyes observing the intricate tapestry of the morning sky, recording its every nuance. Beside him, the fierce lioness goddess Bastet, her emerald eyes alight with protective fury, stretched languidly, her muscles coiling with latent power. Horus, the falcon-headed avenger, stood vigilant, his gaze piercing, a silent vow to guard his grandfather's passage. Even the enigmatic Set, his form a tempest of raw, untamed power, was present, his chaotic energies momentarily harnessed for the greater purpose, a necessary shield against the coming dark. And Isis, the great sorceress, stood serene, her hands subtly moving, weaving protective spells that shimmered like heat haze around the boat. The hour is come, Ra's voice resonated, not with sound but with the very vibration of light, a silent command that rippled through the heavens. His gaze, a burning intensity that could ignite stars, swept over his assembled retinue, a silent acknowledgement of their unwavering loyalty. He stepped onto the deck, and with his presence, the Manjet boat surged forward, breaking free from the unseen moorings of the eastern horizon. The first glorious rays of dawn pierced the veil of night, painting the eastern sky in hues of rose and violet, a masterpiece of divine artistry. Life below stirred, flowers unfolded, birds sang, and the priests in their temples offered incense and hymns, their hearts swelling with devotion. They knew not the intricacies of the divine journey, only the sacred promise of Ra's return. But Ra felt their reverence, a soothing balm that fueled his resolve. The journey had begun, a sacred contract between light and life, between order and the ever-present threat of chaos. What wonders and hidden perils would the celestial ocean hold this day? The Manjet boat, a beacon of resplendent gold, ascended higher into the boundless azure, its passage marking the steady march of the sun across the heavens. Below, the fertile lands of Kemet, Egypt, stretched out like an emerald tapestry woven with the silver thread of the Nile. Ra watched, his heart swelling with a profound sense of purpose. Every ray of his light nourished the crops, warmed the earth, and brought forth life, a continuous testament to the benevolent order he embodied. On the deck, the divine crew moved with an effortless grace, each deity fulfilling their cosmic function. Thoth, perched near the stern, meticulously updated his star charts, his quills scratching silently on papyrus. He charted not just the celestial bodies, but the subtle shifts in the flow of Mad, the delicate balance of truth and justice that Ra's daily journey reinforced. The prayers of the Nile Delta are strong today, Lord Ra, Thoth announced, his voice a calm murmur. The harvest promises abundance, a reflection of Mad's unwavering hold. Ra nodded, a silent acknowledgement. It is their faith that anchors us, Thoth. Their devotion is the invisible current that guides this vessel. Horus, ever vigilant, scanned the horizon, his falcon eyes discerning shapes and energies invisible to mortal sight. The sky is clear, grandfather, he reported, his voice crisp and clear. No shadows dare approach the solar bark in the full glory of your day. Bastet, usually playful, walked the deck with a serious air, her senses attuned to any ripple in the cosmic fabric, ready to unleash her feline ferocity should any lesser spirit of discord attempt to cross their path. Her presence, a silent growl of warning, was often enough. Isis, meanwhile, continued her intricate weaving of protective spells, her hands moving like dancers, infusing the very air around the boat with a shimmering, invisible shield. She often conversed with Ra in hushed tones, offering ancient wisdom and prophetic insights gleaned from the cosmic ether. The tapestry of destiny unfolds with each passing hour. Lord Ra, Isis murmured, her gaze distant yet focused. The day's journey is but a prelude to the deeper trials that await in the Duat. The strength we gather now, the blessings absorbed, will be our anchor in the coming darkness. Even Set, often brooding, found a measure of peace in the sun's warmth. His raw power, though volatile, was a crucial component of the divine retinue, a counterforce against any who might seek to upset the balance, even if his methods were unorthodox. He stood silently at the bow, his eyes narrowed against the glare, a solitary sentinel. The Manjet boat glided effortlessly, carried by unseen currents of celestial energy. Below, the world cycled through its daily rituals. Farmers tilled their fields, craftsmen worked their trades, and children played under the benevolent gaze of Ra. Each heartbeat, each breath, each act of life was a hymn to the sun god, an offering that strengthened his resolve. But even as the sun reached its zenith, casting the shortest shadows, Ra knew that this outward peace was but one half of the eternal cycle. For every height reached, there must be a corresponding descent, a journey into the depths where shadows were not merely an absence of light, but a presence of their own, waiting to challenge the very essence of existence. As the sun reached its glorious zenith, its rays perpendicular and powerful, bathing the world in an incandescent glow, the presence of Mad became almost palpable. She was not merely an abstract concept of truth, justice, and cosmic order. She was a divine force, an elegant and omnipotent goddess whose white ostrich feather was the very standard by which all existence was judged. Though she did not travel on the Manjet boat in physical form, her essence permeated every fiber of Ra's journey. Her watchful eyes, unseen, weighed every cosmic breath. On the deck, the conversation turned to her. Isis, ever the seeress, spoke. The scales of Mad are perfectly balanced at this hour, Lord Ra. The hearts of men are light, their deeds aligned with truth, their prayers resonate with harmony. This strengthens your passage, fortifies the boat against the unseen currents of discord. Thoth nodded in agreement. Indeed, the flow of Mad is strong. The very air hums with the rectitude of the cosmos. It is a testament to the order you maintain, great Ra, and the devotion of those who live under your light. Ra absorbed their words, his radiant presence momentarily softening, a deep sense of satisfaction washing over him. Mad is the foundation upon which all creation stands, he declared, his voice a low rumble of cosmic thunder, yet filled with profound tenderness. Without her, there is only chaos. It is our eternal duty to uphold her principles, to ensure that the balance remains for the sake of all that is. Bastet, typically focused on external threats, shifted her attention inward, her emerald eyes reflecting the deep sky. She spoke, her voice a purr. Even I, who embody fierce protection, understand that true strength lies not just in teeth and claws, but in the unwavering balance of Mad. It is the peace she grants that I guard. Her tail twitched, a silent testament to her commitment. The sun hung, a majestic orb at the highest point in the sky, a perfect circle of light. It symbolized Ra's absolute dominion, the height of his power, a moment of unblemished order. Humanity below paused in their labors, offering silent prayers of gratitude, feeling the warmth not just on their skin, but in their very souls. These prayers, these acts of faith, ascended like fragrant incense, coalescing around the Manjet boat, reinforcing the divine barrier against the nascent whispers of chaos that always lurked at the edges of creation. Isis, however, ever attuned to the deeper rhythms of existence, cast a shadow of prescient thought. The zenith, Lord Ra, is but a fleeting moment. For every peak, there must be a descent. The true test of man, and indeed of your divine power, lies not in the brilliance of the midday sun, but in the harrowing journey through the deepest darkness. For it is there that chaos seeks to break the scales, to plunge the cosmos into eternal night. Her words, though calm, carried the weight of ages, a gentle reminder that the day's majesty was only half the story. The sun, having reached its glorious peak, now poised for its inexorable descent, ready to challenge the shadows that would soon gather on the western horizon. The golden glory of midday began its subtle, inevitable shift. The sun, once a searing orb directly overhead, now began its slow, majestic arc towards the western horizon. The sky, which had been a brilliant, uniform azure, started to deepen, streaks of orange and crimson painting the celestial canvas. The air, once vibrant with the energy of noon, grew softer, imbued with a melancholic beauty as the day prepared to yield to night. On the deck of the Manjet boat, the atmosphere subtly changed. The earlier joviality and celebratory hymns gave way to a quiet solemnity, a focused preparation for the transformation that lay ahead. Ra, his radiant form still commanding, turned his gaze westward, his luminous eyes contemplating the unseen portal that would soon draw them into the Duat, the underworld. The time approaches. Ra's voice, though still powerful, carried a new gravitas, a weight of ancient knowledge and impending trial. The veil between worlds thins. Prepare yourselves, my faithful companions, for the currents of Duat are swift and treacherous, and its inhabitants, both blessed and cursed, await our passage. Isis stepped forward, her hands glowing faintly as she performed a series of intricate gestures, weaving a powerful protective spell. The rituals are complete, Lord Ra, she announced, her voice calm but firm. The boat is imbued with the strongest wards against defilement and dissolution. The sacred incantations have been chanted, the amulets blessed. They will serve as our first defense against the unseen dangers. Thoth consulted his scrolls, his brow furrowed in concentration. I have mapped the known pathways of the Duat, Ra, as revealed by Osiris. Yet the chaos is ever shifting. Expect the unexpected, for even the wisest of us cannot predict every twist of the serpent's will. He spoke of Apophis without uttering the great serpent's name, as if merely speaking it could draw its malevolent attention. Horus, his hand instinctively gripping the hilt of his sword, his gaze fixed on the darkening west, declared, "My strength is yours, grandfather. Let any who stand against your light feel the wrath of the falcon." His youthful vigor was a stark contrast to the ancient wisdom of Ra and Isis, yet it was a vital part of the divine retinue. Even Set, who had been brooding at the prow, seemed to stir with a dangerous anticipation. A grim smile touched his lips, revealing a flash of sharp teeth. "The shadows are where I thrive, Ra," he rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "Let them come. My fury will meet their malice." His presence, volatile and formidable, was a double-edged sword, a necessary force for the coming battle, yet one that always carried the risk of its own unpredictable power. As the sun touched the horizon, painting the sky in fiery farewells of gold and crimson, the Manjet boat began its final descent. The air grew colder, heavy with the scent of approaching twilight. The comforting light of the day receded, giving way to the vast, encompassing darkness of the underworld, a darkness far more profound than mere night. The surface of the celestial ocean rippled, no longer reflecting the sun, but shimmering with an eerie, otherworldly luminescence. The vibrant life of the day began to fade to sleep, to await the sun's rebirth. The journey into the depths, into the heart of the cosmic unknown, was about to begin. What ancient secrets and terrifying guardians lay hidden behind the gates of Duat, awaiting the arrival of the sun god? The final sliver of Ra's golden orb dipped below the western horizon, plunging the world into a sudden, profound twilight. The air grew thick, heavy with the scent of damp earth and ancient magic. The Manjet boat, once shimmering with the sun's brilliance, underwent a startling transformation. Its electrum timbers darkened, taking on the somber hues of obsidian and deep amethyst. The golden sails furled, replaced by spectral canvases woven from the very fabric of twilight. This was the Bastet boat, the bark of night, adapted for the journey through the perilous realm of Duat. A deep, resonant hum vibrated through the air, growing in intensity until it shook the very essence of the boat. Before them, where the horizon had dissolved, a colossal, unseen portal yawned open. It was not a physical gate of stone or metal, but a shimmering, undulating curtain of pure shadow, infused with symbols that pulsed with a faint, internal light. Ancient hieroglyphs of protection and passage, known only to the gods, scrolled across its surface, welcoming the divine and warning off the profane. "We have arrived," Ra declared, his voice now imbued with a deeper, more resonant power, a power that commanded the very shadows around them. His form, while still radiant, had taken on a more subtle glow, adapted for the spectral light of the underworld. The first hour of Duat commences. Prepare yourselves, for the guardians of these realms are fierce, and their trials are unyielding. As the Bastet boat glided towards the spectral gate, monstrous forms began to materialize from the encroaching darkness. Not flesh and blood, but entities woven from shadow and primal fear. Gigantic serpents, their scales shimmering with infernal fire, uncoiled from the unseen depths, their eyes glowing like embers. Scorpion men, their pincers raised, stood sentinel on spectral watchtowers that pierced the dark sky. Their silent, piercing gazes were meant to intimidate, to test the resolve of the sun god's retinue. Thoth, ever watchful, recited ancient incantations from his papyrus, his voice a steady chant that countered the oppressive aura of the guardians. "These are the watchers of the first gate, Ra," he explained, his eyes fixed on the serpentine forms. "They test our rite of passage, demand the ancient passwords, and seek to discern any weakness in our resolve." Isis, her hands weaving intricate patterns in the air, projected a powerful aura of protection around the Bastet boat. "The spells of protection hold strong," she reassured Ra, "but their malice is tangible. Let us pass with wisdom, not merely force." Set, however, bristled with a raw, untamed energy. He snarled, his form shifting as if eager for conflict. "Wisdom is well and good, Isis, but some creatures understand only the language of power." He took a step forward, his very presence radiating a dangerous force that made the shadow creatures recoil slightly. Ra raised a hand, a silent command for restraint. "Patience, Set. There are times for diplomacy and times for war. We shall answer their challenge with truth." He stepped to the prow of the Bastet boat, his eyes fixed on the largest serpent, its head rearing to block their path. With a voice that resonated with the primordial power of creation, he spoke the sacred names of the guardians, recounted the ancient pacts, and declared his divine purpose: the renewal of the world, the upholding of man. The colossal serpent hissed, a sound like grinding stone, its fiery eyes scrutinizing Ra's essence. But the divine authority in Ra's voice, the sheer weight of his cosmic purpose, was undeniable. Slowly, reluctantly, the serpent's massive head lowered, and the spectral gate rippled wider, revealing the ominous, cavernous darkness beyond. The first test was passed, but the shadows within beckoned, promising trials far more insidious than mere monstrous sentinels. What ancient spirits and forgotten sorrows would they encounter in the labyrinthine depths of the second hour? The Bastet boat slipped through the shimmering portal, leaving the sentinel guardians of the first hour behind. The atmosphere shifted again, becoming denser, colder, filled with an echoing silence broken only by the gentle lapping of spectral waters against the boat's hull. They were now in the second hour of Duat, a vast, labyrinthine network of caverns, their ceilings lost in impenetrable gloom, their walls etched with hieroglyphs that pulsed with faint, enigmatic light. This was a realm where the distinction between living and dead, past and present, often blurred. Whispers began to rise from the shadowy depths, ethereal voices carried on unseen currents of air. They were not malevolent, but mournful, spectral sighs of forgotten lives, echoes of hopes and dreams that had passed from the earthly plane. These were the blessed dead, the justified souls, who awaited their final judgment in the Hall of Two Truths, or rested in the fertile fields of Aru, Osiris's paradisiacal kingdom. Their prayers, though muted by death, still reached Ra, acknowledging his divine passage. "These are the souls who passed the weighing of the heart," Thoth murmured, his voice respectful. "They recognize your light, Ra, even in this realm of shadows. Their silent blessings strengthen us." He transcribed some of the glowing hieroglyphs from the cavern walls, noting the names of ancient kings and queens, priests and commoners, their essence preserved in the living rock. Isis, however, listened more intently to the whispers, her brow furrowed with concern. "Yet there are others," she observed, her voice barely audible. "Lost souls, those who did not find their way or who succumbed to despair. Their pleas are fainter, their forms almost transparent. They seek guidance, Lord Ra, a glimpse of the light they have lost." Ra's gaze, though still potent, softened with compassion. He directed the Bastet boat to slow, and from his radiant core, he projected a soft, warm light that reached out to the fading specters. He did not speak, but his presence alone, the very essence of his divine being, was a balm to their eternal sorrow. Some of the wisps of light, once aimless, coalesced slightly, forming momentary semblances of human figures, bowing in silent reverence before dissipating again, their burden light. Horus, usually stern, felt a pang of empathy. "Even in death they yearn for order," he stated, his voice quiet, "for the clarity that Mad provides." Set, surprisingly, remained silent, his fierce gaze piercing the shadows. Perhaps even his chaotic heart felt a flicker of something akin to respect for these lost souls. Or perhaps he simply recognized the cosmic balance Ra sought to maintain. As they navigated the labyrinthine passages, the path ahead was not always clear. Some tunnels branched into impenetrable darkness, others led to illusory dead ends. Thoth's knowledge of ancient rites and the subtle energies of Duat was invaluable. He guided the boat, deciphering the glowing hieroglyphs that marked the true path, interpreting the faint echoes that indicated the correct turn. The trial here was not one of strength, but of wisdom, discernment, and compassion. But amidst the mournful whispers and the echoes of the justified, a discordant note began to emerge, a subtle vibration of unease that permeated the deeper recesses of the caverns. It was not the sorrow of the lost, nor the peace of the blessed, but something colder, more calculating. It was a faint, almost imperceptible tremor, hinting at a presence that sought to corrupt, to sow discord even among the dead. The true threat of the Duat was slowly revealing itself, a creeping malevolence that sought to turn even blessed paths into treacherous traps, threatening to ensnare Ra's divine journey in a web of deceit. The soothing whispers of the justified dead faded behind them, replaced by a growing heat and a terrifying, guttural roar that echoed from the depths. The labyrinthine caverns gave way to a vast, infernal landscape, bathed in a flickering, hellish light. Before them stretched a colossal river, not of water, but of molten fire, its surface churning with incandescent waves that cast dancing shadows on the obsidian cliffs lining its banks. This was the River of Fire, the dreaded sixth hour of Duat, a realm of torment and monstrous entities. The Bastet boat, though designed for the underworld, shuddered from the intense heat and the malevolent energies emanating from the fiery river. The air was thick with the stench of sulfur and burning despair. From the scorching depths, creatures of pure nightmare began to emerge. Serpentine demons with multiple heads, their fangs dripping venom. Grotesque, multi-limbed monsters with claws like obsidian razors, and fiends whose very forms seemed to distort reality, twisting light and shadow into terrifying illusions. Their purpose was singular: to impede Ra's progress, to consume his light, and to plunge the world into eternal darkness. "Hold fast," Ra commanded, his voice ringing with renewed power. cutting through the cacophony of monstrous roars and the crackling of the fiery river. His own radiance intensified, pushing back the encroaching shadows and their horrifying inhabitants. Isis, her face etched with fierce concentration, elevated her protective enchantments. A shimmering, sapphire-blue shield, woven from pure magic, enveloped the Bastet boat, deflecting jets of fire and the lunging attacks of the demons. Her hands moved with astonishing speed, tracing ancient symbols in the air, each one a potent ward against the infernal assaults. "They seek to devour the light, Lord Ra," she cried, her voice strained. "Their hunger for chaos is insatiable." Bastet, who had been a silent, graceful presence, now sprang into terrifying action. Her form expanded, growing to a colossal size, her emerald eyes blazing like twin suns. With a ferocious roar that shook the very foundations of the cavern, she leaped from the boat, a whirlwind of claws and teeth, engaging the most aggressive of the fire demons. Her movements were a blur of feline grace and brutal efficiency, tearing through the monstrous ranks, her protective fury a blazing shield against the encroaching chaos. Her roars mingled with the shrieks of the demons, a primal symphony of battle. Horus, drawing his celestial sword, his falcon wings unfurling with a rush of wind, stood ready to defend the boat. His blade, imbued with divine light, cleaved through the shadows that tried to board the vessel, sending sparks of pure energy into the fiery river. "They shall not touch the bark of Ra," he vowed, his voice filled with righteous indignation. Even Set, reveling in the raw destructive energy of the realm, unleashed his own tempestuous power. A swirling vortex of sand and lightning erupted from his hands, striking down waves of lesser demons, their forms dissolving into ash before the onslaught of his wild magic. He grinned, a savage glint in his eye, a dangerous ally against the forces of darkness. "This is a fine realm for a proper brawl," he roared, his laughter echoing unnervingly through the fiery expanse. Ra, at the heart of it all, remained steadfast. He did not merely observe. He was the anchor, the source of the protective light, the unyielding will that kept the boat moving forward through the infernal currents. He directed his gaze, his radiant essence, towards the core of the largest, most malevolent demons, causing them to recoil, their forms momentarily flickering as if uncertain of their own existence in the face of such pure, unadulterated light. The battle raged, a terrifying ballet of divine power against primordial chaos. The Bastet boat, scarred but unbowed, continued its passage, leaving a trail of shimmering light through the fiery river. They had repelled the direct assaults, but the sheer malevolence of Duat was beginning to feel like a living, thinking entity, one that was slowly but surely closing in, gathering its strength for a final, decisive confrontation. The fury of the river of fire receded, leaving behind a profound, unsettling stillness. The intense heat gradually faded, replaced by a chilling cold that seemed to seep into the very bone. They had entered the 8th hour of Duat, a realm not of overt monstrous aggression, but of subtle deception and psychological torment. Here, shadows did not just obscure. They misled, they whispered lies, and they sought to turn the hearts of even the gods against one another. The Bastet boat drifted into a vast, silent expanse, where the air shimmered with illusions. Phantoms of beloved pasts flickered at the edges of vision, promises of escape, temptations of power. The very essence of the realm sought to exploit internal doubts and divisions within Ra's retinue, to weaken their unity before the ultimate confrontation. Ra felt the subtle tendrils of doubt attempting to seep into his own divine mind, whispers of the futility of his eternal cycle, the endless battle against an enemy that could never truly be destroyed. He steeled his will, his inner light burning brighter, pushing back the insidious suggestions. Isis, her magical senses acutely attuned, gasped, "Lord Ra, beware. These shadows are not mere illusions. They are woven from the concentrated despair and discord of ages, designed to sow chaos from within." Her eyes darted, searching for the source of this insidious attack, her hands already moving to counteract the mental assault. Thoth, clutching his scrolls, his face pale, tried to focus his vast intellect. "The path ahead is obscured by deceit," he warned. "The very stars twist and turn. Trust not what you see, but what you know to be true by the light of Mad." Then, a sudden, jarring event. A wave of shimmering darkness erupted from the unseen depths of the realm, not targeting the boat directly, but singling out one of the crew. Set, who had been strangely quiet since leaving the river of fire, suddenly roared, his eyes glowing with an alarming, reddish light. His form seemed to ripple, the raw, untamed power within him surging uncontrollably. This darkness, it whispers of dominion, of a power to break all chains, even the chains of fate, he bellowed, his voice distorted, his gaze fixed on something invisible to the others. He began to turn, his focus shifting, his formidable power threatening to unleash itself not upon the forces of Duat, but upon the very Bastet boat and its occupants. Horus reacted instantly, recognizing the danger. "Set, control yourself. This is the trickery of Apophis seeking to turn us against each other." He drew his sword, not to fight Set, but to create a barrier, a warning. Bastet snarled, her protective instincts flaring. She positioned herself defensively, her muscles tensing, ready to intervene should Set's rage truly turn inward. Ra, however, acted with calm authority. He knew Set's volatile nature, his susceptibility to the allure of raw power, especially when fueled by the malicious whispers of chaos. With a deep, resonant hum, Ra projected a beam of pure, golden light, not aggressive but purifying. It enveloped Set, not binding him but burning away the layers of insidious influence. Set screamed, a sound of agony and rage, as the chaotic energies possessing him were scorched away. He staggered back, shaking his head, his eyes slowly returning to their normal, albeit still fierce, hue. He looked around, bewildered, then at Ra, a flicker of shame in his gaze. "The venom of the shadow, it nearly claimed me," he muttered, his voice hoarse. "Forgive my weakness, Ra." Ra simply nodded, his gaze unwavering. "Even the strongest can be swayed by the deepest deceptions, Set. The shadows seek cracks in our unity. Let this be a lesson that the greatest treachery often comes from within." The incident was a chilling reminder that the forces of chaos were intelligent, cunning, and relentless. They understood the vulnerabilities of the divine, and they would exploit them without mercy. The ultimate encounter, the true heart of the darkness, was now imminent, and they had barely survived a skirmish with its insidious treachery. The treacherous illusions and mind-bending whispers of the 8th hour dissolved, replaced by a profound, suffocating darkness that was absolute, primordial, and utterly devoid of all light. The temperature plummeted, reaching an impossible cold that bit into the very essence of the gods, a cold that spoke of utter annihilation. The Bastet boat no longer drifted. It was held fast, ensnared in an unseen grip, its timbers groaning under an immense, crushing pressure. They had entered the 10th hour of Duat, the domain of absolute chaos. Then, a tremor, not a gentle ripple, but a seismic convulsion that ripped through the very fabric of the underworld. The darkness around them began to coalesce, to thicken, to take on a terrifying, serpentine form. It was not merely a large serpent. It was a being of pure, unadulterated chaos, the antithesis of all creation, the embodiment of primeval nothingness. Its scales were of deepest night, absorbing all light, its eyes vast, fathomless pits of malevolence, burning with an ancient, terrifying hunger. This was Apophis, the great serpent of chaos, Ra's eternal adversary, awakened and fully manifested, ready to swallow the sun and plunge all existence into everlasting oblivion. A low, guttural growl, a sound that transcended all sound, echoed from the monstrous throat of Apophis. It was a roar of insatiable hunger, of cosmic ambition, a declaration of war against order itself. The very air vibrated with its hateful presence, causing even the most steadfast of Ra's crew to feel a flicker of primal fear. "He rises." Ra's voice, though firm, was imbued with the weight of eons of battle. His radiant core flared, pushing back against the encroaching darkness, a defiant star against an ocean of night. The hour of confrontation is upon us. Stand ready, my beloved children, for the fate of man, and indeed all creation rests upon this battle. Isis immediately began to chant, her voice rising in a crescendo of ancient power. Her hands moved with blinding speed, weaving intricate spells of binding and protection, creating shimmering barriers that pulsed with potent light around the Bastet boat. The wards are strengthened, Lord Ra, but his power is immense, drawn from the very void. Thoth, his eyes wide with grim determination, consulted his most sacred scrolls. The prophecies speak of this moment, Ra. The battle will be fierce, the outcome never truly certain. We must channel all our might, all our unity, against his destructive will. He began to invoke powerful words of power, his voice a steady counterpoint to Apophis's growing roar. Horus drew his sword, its blade now burning with a fierce, unwavering light. Let him come, for the glory of Ra, for the preservation of man. His youthful fury was honed into a deadly focus, his falcon wings unfurling, ready for flight and combat. Bastet, her form once again enlarged, let out a terrifying, challenging shriek, a sound of pure, unbridled ferocity. Her claws extended, gleaming in the faint light, her muscles coiled like springs of steel. She was a living embodiment of defensive rage, ready to tear apart anything that dared threaten her son lord. Even Set, his recent vulnerability banished, bristled with a dark, dangerous energy. A wild, exhilarated grin spread across his face, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of battle. Finally, a foe worthy of my full fury, he roared, generating crackling bolts of crimson lightning from his hands, eager to unleash his chaotic power against the ultimate chaos. Apophis, having fully manifested, was a horrifying spectacle. Its colossal coils, vast enough to encircle worlds, began to tighten around the Bastet boat, attempting to crush it, to absorb its light. Its monstrous maw, gaping wide, revealed a terrifying abyss of fangs, its throat a portal to eternal darkness, ready to swallow the very essence of the sun. The air was thick with the dust of disrupted stars, the taste of nothingness. The ultimate battle, the eternal struggle between order and chaos, was no longer a philosophical concept, but a terrifying, visceral reality. The Bastet boat, caught in the serpent's crushing embrace, vibrated violently. The decisive moment had arrived, where the very fate of the cosmos would be forged in fire and shadow. With a guttural roar that threatened to tear apart the fabric of Duat, Apophis lunged. Its immense head, a mountain of shadow and malice, darted forward, its fangs, each like a polished obsidian dagger, snapping at the Bastet boat. The first coil of the Serpent of Chaos slammed against the hull, sending a bone-jarring impact through the vessel, threatening to capsize it. The celestial bark, despite Isis's powerful wards, groaned under the immense, unholy pressure. To arms! Defend the sun, Horus bellowed, his voice ringing with courage. With a powerful beat of his falcon wings, he soared into the air, his glowing sword a meteor against the oppressive darkness. He plunged it deep into the dark scales of Apophis where the coil pressed against the boat. Sparks of chaotic energy erupted, and the serpent recoiled with a hiss of pain and rage, its massive head whipping back. But Apophis was vast, its form encompassing the very horizon. As one coil recoiled, another, even thicker and more powerful, snaked around the boat, seeking to constrict it, to crush Ra's light within its suffocating grip. The air grew thin, the oppressive aura of chaos threatening to extinguish the very will of the gods. Bastet, a blur of feline fury, launched herself from the deck. She landed on the encroaching coil, her claws, now extended to colossal size, raking savagely across the serpent's hide. Her roars were a defiance against the monstrous hiss of Apophis, a symphony of protective rage. Where her claws tore, streams of black ichor, the very essence of chaos, bled from Apophis, briefly shimmering with destructive energy before dissipating into the void. Isis, however, knew that physical attacks alone were not enough against an entity of pure chaos. She stood at the heart of the boat, her eyes closed in deep concentration, her entire being radiating an immense, shimmering power. Her incantations grew louder, a melodic torrent of ancient words of binding and severance. Golden chains of pure magical energy, woven from the fabric of order itself, erupted from her hands, snaking out to wrap around Apophis's coils, seeking to restrain its movements, to contain its destructive will. The serpent thrashed violently, its rage intensified by the binding magic. "Your spells are strong, sister, but Apophis will not be held by mere magic." Set roared, his form crackling with crimson lightning. He unleashed a tempest of destructive energy, bolts of pure chaotic power, but directed chaos, striking at the very points where Isis's magic sought to bind Apophis. His attacks were not to destroy, but to disrupt, to create fissures in Apophis's chaotic form, making it more vulnerable to the collective efforts. His laughter, wild and unhinged, echoed through the dark realm as he reveled in the sheer destructive force. Thoth, though not a warrior, played his crucial role. He stood at the stern, reading from his scrolls, his voice a steady chant. He invoked ancient names, hidden knowledge, words that weakened the serpent's spiritual cohesion, momentarily confusing its primal intellect, causing its monstrous eyes to flicker with uncertainty. The words of power strip its strength, Ra. It thrives on ignorance. Knowledge is its bane. Ra, at the very center of the maelstrom, was not idle. His radiance intensified to an almost unbearable degree, a scorching sun in the heart of absolute night. He channeled his divine essence, not into a direct physical attack, but into a pulse of pure, unadulterated order, a wave of cosmic mad that rippled outwards. This wave struck Apophis like a physical blow, causing the serpent to shudder, its form momentarily dissolving at the edges, its reality challenged by the presence of absolute truth. The immense pressure on the Bastet boat momentarily eased, giving the gods a precious moment of respite. But Apophis, a being that drew its very existence from chaos, was already beginning to regenerate, its fathomless eyes glowing with renewed malice, its vast maw opening wider, preparing for another, more devastating assault. The struggle seemed interminable, an unwinnable war against an endless night. The temporary reprieve shattered as Apophis, with a roar that echoed the emptiness of the void, lunged again. Its immense, shadowy form, though momentarily weakened by Ra's pulse of mad and the gods' combined assaults, regenerated with terrifying speed. It was a being that fed on conflict, on the struggle against it growing stronger with every moment of chaos it caused. Its goal was simple: to swallow Ra, to consume the very light of creation, and to plunge the cosmos into eternal, unmaking darkness. This was no longer a skirmish. It was a cosmic war, a direct clash between the foundational forces of the universe. Ra, no longer merely defending, unleashed the full, unbridled power of his divine essence. From his radiant core, he projected beams of pure, incandescent solar fire, not the gentle warmth of the day, but a searing, purifying flame that scourged the very fabric of chaos. These fiery lances pierced Apophis's shadowy form, causing it to writhe in agony, its vast coils flailing, tearing through the ethereal landscape of Duat. But Apophis was relentless. It retaliated by conjuring vortexes of pure entropy, swirling maelstroms of anti-light that threatened to dissolve the Bastet boat and its divine crew into primordial nothingness. The air screamed as these chaotic forces collided with Ra's light, a spectacle of unimaginable power. Horus, with a battle cry that shook the spectral heavens, soared high above the fray. His sword, now blazing with the eye of Ra's fierce light, descended in powerful, sweeping arcs, striking at the serpent's vulnerable points. Its eyes, its throat, the junctions of its massive coils. Each strike was empowered by the righteous fury of a son avenging his father, a grandson protecting his progenitor. He was a beacon of swift, decisive action, dodging Apophis's snapping jaws with incredible agility. Bastet, a whirlwind of furious grace, moved with impossible speed across Apophis's monstrous form, her colossal claws tearing, shredding, creating deep gashes in its shadowy hide. Her roars were a continuous challenge, a promise of pain for every breath the serpent took. She was the primal protector, embodying the fierce, untamed aspect of Maat's defense. Isis, meanwhile, worked tirelessly, her hands a blur of motion, her incantations a torrent of ancient, cosmic power. She wove complex sigils of binding and reversal, seeking to unravel Apophis's chaotic essence. She conjured ethereal nets of starlight, attempts to ensnare its head, to force its monstrous jaws shut. She used her deepest magic, the hidden names of Ra himself, to inflict a searing, internal pain upon the serpent, to make it recoil from the very essence of the sun it sought to devour. Set in his own chaotic but crucial way, was a force of pure destruction against Apophis. He conjured colossal thunderstorms of cosmic energy, bolts of dark lightning that ripped through Apophis's shadowy scales, causing it to shriek in tormented fury. He was destruction battling destruction, chaos against chaos, turning the serpent's own primordial nature against itself. His wild power, usually a danger, was now the most potent weapon against the ultimate undoing. The battle raged, a maelstrom of light and shadow, sound and silence, creation and unmaking. The very fabric of Duat groaned under the stress of such immense forces. Maat, though not physically present, was deeply intertwined with the struggle. Every successful blow against Apophis, every ward that held, every surge of Ra's light, strengthened the cosmic order, pushing back against the encroaching dissolution. Conversely, every successful attack from Apophis, every flicker of doubt or exhaustion among the gods, threatened to tip the delicate scales towards eternal night. The ground of Duat itself began to crack and splinter, revealing abyssal depths from which even more primordial chaos threatened to emerge. Apophis, wounded but far from defeated, let out a terrifying shriek of defiance, its vast maw opening impossibly wide once more, drawing in the very light of Ra, attempting to swallow him whole. Victory was not yet assured, as the serpent of chaos seemed to draw strength from its very wounds, its regeneration a terrifying testament to its eternal nature. Apophis, its monstrous form scarred and writhing from the gods' combined assault, let out a final, ear-splitting shriek that momentarily paralyzed all but the most resolute. With a desperate, titanic surge of power, it lunged, its vast maw encompassing not just the Bastet boat, but the very space around them, a black hole threatening to swallow all into eternal oblivion. The crushing pressure returned, more intense than before, threatening to snuff out Ra's light forever. Now, Ra's voice boomed, resonating with the primal power of creation, cutting through the cacophony of chaos. His form, now radiating with a brilliance that defied the darkest depths of Duat, expanded, becoming a searing sun in the heart of the void. He gathered all his divine energy, all the accumulated strength from the prayers of humanity, all the focused essence of Maat, and channeled it into a single, devastating surge. From Ra's very core erupted a blinding, incandescent blast of pure solar light. Not just fire, but the essence of existence itself. A concentrated wave of order so potent it could unravel the fabric of chaos. It surged outwards, striking Apophis directly in its gaping maw, forcing itself down the monstrous throat. The serpent shrieked again, a sound of unimaginable agony and primordial terror. The light of Ra, the very thing it sought to consume, was now tearing it apart from within. Its shadowy form began to shimmer, to distort, to convulse violently. The colossal coils that had ensnared the Bastet boat recoiled, thrashing wildly, causing seismic disruptions that shook the entirety of Duat. At that crucial moment, the divine retinue acted in perfect, synchronized unity. Horus, with a final, furious cry, plunged his blazing sword deep into the back of Apophis's neck, severing the nerve clusters that controlled its monstrous will. The serpent's thrashing became uncoordinated, its mind reeling. Bastet, leaping onto its head, unleashed a flurry of savage claws, tearing at its eyes, momentarily blinding the creature, disrupting its malevolent gaze. Her roars of triumph mingled with Apophis's tormented wails. Isis, her magic now focused with laser precision, wove the most potent binding spells, threads of pure starlight and cosmic law, around the serpent's thrashing form, drawing them taut, constricting its movements, reinforcing the internal assault of Ra's light. By the power of the primal waters, by the breath of creation, I bind you, Apophis. You shall not consume the light, she chanted, her voice ringing with absolute authority. Set, unleashing a final, colossal tempest of chaotic energy, directed it not at Apophis's body, but at the parts of Duat that were fueling its regeneration, causing eruptions of antimatter, temporarily severing the serpent's connection to its dark source. His destructive fury was now truly harnessed for creation's defense. Thoth, raising his staff, chanted the final, most sacred names of severance, words that shattered the serpent's spiritual cohesion, forcing its chaotic essence to recede, to fragment. Return to the nothingness from whence you came. Your reign is broken. With a final, shattering roar, a sound of utter defeat and profound frustration, Apophis's immense form began to unravel. Not to die, for chaos could never truly die, but to be driven back, to be sundered, to be forced into a deep, agonizing slumber. Its shadowy scales dissolved, its vast coils dissipated, receding into the deepest, most unreachable abysses of Duat. The overwhelming darkness began to light, the crushing pressure lifted, and the air, though still cold, was no longer suffocating. The battle was over. The serpent of chaos was vanquished, driven back into its slumber. The Bastet boat, though battered and scorched, was free. The collective sigh of relief from the divine retinue was palpable, echoing through the now quieter realm. Ra, his light still burning intensely, stood triumphant but weary. The darkness was pushed back, but the path to rebirth still lay ahead. A journey through the shadowy aftermath of cosmic war to the hopeful promise of a new dawn. A profound stillness descended upon the 10th hour of Duat. The echoes of Apophis's defeat lingered like a spectral chill, a testament to the immense struggle that had just unfolded. The oppressive darkness began its slow, subtle retreat, giving way to a dim, ethereal twilight that hinted at the distant presence of some faint, unseen celestial body. The Bastet boat, though intact, bore the scars of the epic confrontation, its spectral timbers singed, its enchantments shimmering with exhaustion. Ra, his radiant form slightly diminished from the colossal expenditure of power, stood at the prow, his gaze sweeping over the now calm expanse. The immediate threat was vanquished, but the sun's essence, though victorious, needed renewal. The journey through Duat always took its toll, draining Ra's strength, dimming his light before the glorious rebirth of dawn. The serpent is driven back, Ra declared, his voice weary but resolute. But my light, though triumphant, is not yet fully reborn. The crucible of Duat has tested me, as it tests all who seek passage. It was then, from the depths of the Bastet boat itself, from beneath Ra's very feet, that a subtle tremor began. A shimmering light, small yet intensely potent, emanated from the hull. Slowly, majestically, a colossal scarab beetle, its iridescent carapace shimmering with all the colors of the dawn, began to emerge. This was Khepri, the manifestation of Ra's morning sun, the very embodiment of self-creation and rebirth. Khepri was Ra in his rejuvenating aspect, the scarab pushing the sun into existence. The scarab ascended, its ancient legs moving with an almost sacred slowness, until it settled upon the deck directly before Ra. Its multifaceted eyes, like clusters of tiny emeralds, gazed upon the sun god with profound understanding. A wave of pure, revitalizing energy emanated from Khepri, a silent promise of renewal. Isis, recognizing the sacred ritual, stepped forward, her hands raised in veneration. Khepri, the great self-created, you bring the promise of rebirth, the renewal of the light giver. She began to chant, her voice weaving a melodic tapestry of ancient hymns that celebrated creation and resurrection. she drew forth vials of sacred oils and unguents, anointing Ra's radiant form with rituals of purification and strengthening. Thoth, with precise movements, laid out ancient scrolls and mystical artifacts around Ra and Khepri, aligning them with the unseen cosmic currents. He recited passages that invoked the primordial forces of creation, drawing power from the very origins of the universe to aid Ra's regeneration. Horus and Bastet stood guard, their forms alert, their eyes scanning the retreating shadows. Even Set, though usually impatient with rituals, stood respectfully silent, acknowledging the profound sacredness of the moment. His own chaotic energy seemed to calm, recognizing the necessity of this cosmic reset. As Khepri's energy flowed into Ra, a transformation began. Ra's slightly diminished radiance pulsed, then intensified. The lines of weariness that had subtly etched themselves onto his divine form smoothed away. His aura, once powerful but tempered by the battle, flared with renewed brilliance, becoming cleaner, sharper, infused with the fresh, vibrant energy of a new creation. The scarab, having imparted its essence, slowly began to fade, its task complete, its promise fulfilled. The Mesektet boat itself seemed to draw strength from Ra's renewal, its battle scars fading, its spectral timbers taking on a more vibrant, hopeful sheen. The atmosphere lightened further, no longer carrying the weight of battle or the chill of the void. The final, most crucial ritual of Ra's night journey was complete. He was not just victorious, but reborn, revitalized, ready to face the world with a fresh dawn. But the passage out of Duat and the re-emergence into the world still lay ahead, a journey from the deepest darkness to the ultimate light. With Ra's complete rejuvenation, infused with the vibrant energy of Khepri, the Mesektet boat began to stir from its long, arduous journey through the depths of Duat. The oppressive chill of the 10th hour finally lifted, replaced by a bracing coolness that hinted at the distant, unseen atmosphere of the waking world. The vague, ethereal twilight of the defeated Apophis realm gave way to a slowly brightening gloom. The time for ascent is at hand, Ra announced, his voice now vibrant and full, echoing with the renewed power of a self-created god. His radiant form blazed with a fierce, purifying light, banishing any lingering wisps of shadow from the vessel. The gates of the 11th hour opened to us, leading to the pathways of dawn. As Ra spoke, the Mesektet boat, responding to his revitalized will, began to move. It glided through what felt like a vast, vertical tunnel, an unseen shaft leading upwards through the remaining hours of Duat. The spectral timbers of the boat underwent another transformation, shimmering and lightening, slowly regaining the golden hue of electrum. The tattered, spectral sails unfurled, gradually reweaving themselves into the brilliant, sun-spun fabric of the Manjet boat. The scars of the battle with Apophis vanished, erased by the power of Ra's rebirth. The divine crew, their forms now radiating with renewed energy, looked upon Ra with reverence and quiet joy. The arduous night was ending. The promise of a new day was within reach. "The path is clear, Lord Ra," Thoth announced, his voice filled with relief, his scrolls put away as the need for mapping the chaotic realms had passed. "The final guardians of these passages recognize your renewed authority. They greet you as the reborn sun." Indeed, as they ascended, shimmering, ethereal figures, benevolent spirits, guardians of the final gates materialized along the celestial shaft, bowing in silent homage, their forms glowing with faint, welcoming light. Isis, her face alight with serene joy, completed her final blessings. "The spells of unbinding are complete, Lord Ra. The vestiges of Duat's touch fall away. You emerge pure, as on the first day of creation." Her magic had ensured that no lingering corruption or shadow from the underworld could cling to the sun god or his vessel. Horus, his falcon eyes gleaming with anticipation, scanned the accelerating ascent. "I perceive the distant glimmer of the eastern horizon, Grandfather. The world below stirs, awaiting your return." His words were a burst of optimism, a herald of the approaching dawn. Even Set, though typically grim, allowed a subtle, almost imperceptible nod of satisfaction. His role, the destructive force turned against chaos, was complete. He had done his part in the night's gruesome work, and now the light, though not his preferred domain, was returning. The Manjet boat, fully restored to its resplendent, golden glory, surged upwards faster and faster, leaving behind the last vestiges of the underworld. The darkness thinned rapidly, replaced by a glorious, deep violet light, then hues of indigo and rose. The chilling cold dissipated, replaced by a gentle, warming breeze that carried the faint, sweet scent of morning dew and blooming lotuses from the world above. The unseen veil between Duat and the waking world thinned to an almost transparent membrane. Through it, Ra could feel the faint, stirring consciousness of humanity, their dreams fading, their bodies awakening, their collective anticipation building. They were unaware of the cosmic war waged on their behalf, only of the sacred, undeniable promise that the sun would always return. The Manjet boat burst forth from the underworld's final gate, leaving behind the dark abyss. The eastern sky, still painted in twilight's softest hues, now pulsed with an undeniable, growing luminescence. The first hint of a new, glorious day was not just a promise, but a burgeoning reality. The world awaited its sun, poised on the edge of a new cycle. The Manjet boat, resplendent and reborn, burst forth from the threshold of Duat, leaving the last vestiges of primordial darkness behind. The eastern sky, already painted with the delicate artistry of pre-dawn soft violets, tender roses and streaks of ethereal gold, now pulsed with an overwhelming, almost blinding luminescence. It was not merely the coming of light, it was the arrival of the light, the very essence of creation itself. Ra emerged, a magnificent, searing orb of gold, his radiant form fully restored, more vibrant and powerful than before. He was not just the sun, but the promise of life, the vanquisher of chaos, the eternal giver of warmth and growth. With his ascent, the celestial ocean, once a dark mirror, now shimmered with incandescent reflections, radiating his glory across the heavens. Below, the world awakened in a symphony of renewed life. The first rays of Ra's morning sun kissed the slumbering lands of Kemet. Flowers, which had closed their petals in the night, unfurled with joyous haste. Birds burst into song, their melodies a rapturous hymn to the returning sun god. The waters of the Nile, catching the golden light, sparkled with renewed vigor, reflecting the triumph above. In their temples, the priests and priestesses, who had kept vigil through the deepest hours of the night, now turned eastward, their faces illuminated by the burgeoning dawn. With uplifted hands, they chanted ancient hymns of praise, their voices swelling with profound gratitude and devotion. Incense, sweet and fragrant, rose in plumes, mirroring the ascent of the sun. The prayers of humanity, a continuous, strengthening current, flowed upwards, confirming Ra's victory and reinforcing Ma'at's reign. On the deck of the Manjet boat, the divine retinue basked in the golden glow of the renewed day. Their faces, once etched with the strain of cosmic battle, now shone with relief and triumphant joy. "The cycle is complete," Isis murmured, her gaze soft, her hands resting over her heart. "The light has triumphed as it always must. Ma'at is restored for another day." Thoth nodded, a serene smile gracing his lips. "The cosmic scales are in perfect balance, Lord Ra. The darkness is driven back, the order reaffirmed. Life flourishes anew beneath your benevolent gaze." Horus, his falcon wings spread wide in a gesture of exultation, let out a piercing cry, a salute to the reborn sun. "The world is safe, grandfather. Your light reigns supreme." Bastet stretched languidly in the sun's warmth, her emerald eyes half-closed in contentment. Her fierce protective energies, though still present, softened into a purr of peace. Her duty was fulfilled for the night. Even Set, standing at the prow, his powerful form silhouetted against the rising sun, allowed himself a rare, almost imperceptible smile. His chaotic might, so instrumental in the battle against Apophis, had played its part in preserving order. He understood the delicate balance, even if he often chafed against its strictures. Ra, gazing down upon the waking world, felt a profound sense of peace and satisfaction wash over him. His light, once dimmed by the arduous journey through Duat and the ferocious battle against Apophis, now blazed with the full, unblemished glory of a new beginning. He was the perpetual sunrise, the eternal renewal, the unwavering promise that darkness, however deep, however terrifying, would always yield to the light. The sun climbed higher into the eastern sky, beginning its majestic journey anew, a daily testament to the enduring victory of order over chaos. The cycle was complete for now, yet the lessons learned in the dark, the constant vigilance against the forces of dissolution, would forever endure, etched into the very fabric of the cosmos. The golden orb of Ra, having gloriously re-emerged from the Duat, now ascended with majestic grace into the morning sky. The air, crisp and fresh with the dew of dawn, hummed with renewed life, a tangible resonance of the cosmic order restored. The celestial currents, which had been fraught with peril in the underworld, now gently guided the Manjet boat across the boundless azure. This was the dance of order, a symphony of existence orchestrated by Ra's eternal journey and upheld by the sacred principles of man. On the deck of the Manjet boat, the divine retinue, though weary from the night's battle, moved with a renewed sense of purpose. The horrors of Duat and the ferocity of Apophis were fresh in their minds, but the triumph of light imbued them with unwavering resolve. Ra, radiating his full, benevolent warmth, surveyed the thriving world below. From the verdant plains watered by the Nile to the bustling cities awakening with human activity, every aspect of life demonstrated the victory of order. He felt the collective consciousness of humanity, their prayers a continuous strengthening current that flowed upwards, a silent pact between God and mortal. Though the night brought its gravest challenges, Ra mused aloud, his voice resonating like a soft, comforting hum, the enduring faith of humanity, coupled with our unity, ensures that Ma'at's light prevails. Their very existence is a testament to the order we protect. Isis, standing beside him, her serene face reflecting the golden light, nodded in agreement. Indeed, Lord Ra, the tapestry of life, the cycle of birth and death, harvest and renewal, are all woven by the threads of Ma'at. It is the invisible force that binds the cosmos, and our vigilance is its constant safeguard. Thoth, ever the scholar, consulted no scrolls now, but simply observed the flawless celestial mechanics. The stars are in perfect alignment, the cosmic currents flow unimpeded. The balance is restored. Ra, the fear of chaos, though a potent memory, cannot diminish the truth of this morning's order. He spoke of the meticulous precision of the cosmos, the divine blueprint that Ma'at represented. Horus, his youthful vigor returning with the sun's climb, stood tall and proud. Let any who doubt the strength of order look upon this day. Let them see the vibrancy of life that springs forth from your triumph, grandfather. He raised his sword, not in aggression, but in a silent salute to the enduring power of man. Bastet, purring contentedly, sharpened her claws on a spectral post, her fierce eyes scanning the horizon not for threats, but simply in affirmation of her protective role. The world is safe for now, she acknowledged, a deep satisfaction in her tone. Even Set, for once, seemed to genuinely appreciate the peaceful majesty of the morning. He stood silently, his volatile energies quiescent, perhaps contemplating the profound contrast between the chaotic void of the night and the vibrant order of the day. The Manjet boat glided smoothly across the vast expanse, pulled by unseen currents of Ma'at. The rising sun cast long, golden shadows, painting the landscape below in ever-changing hues. This was the daily affirmation, the constant reenactment of creation's triumph. But within the hearts of the gods, the memory of Apophis, the whisper of the void, served as a potent reminder. The order was not static. It was a dynamic, living force, requiring constant vigilance, a perpetual dance against the encroaching chaos. And as the sun began its inexorable climb towards midday, casting its blessings upon all, The gods knew that the memory of darkness and the need for eternal watchfulness would remain woven into the very fabric of their existence. As Ra's magnificent manjet boat sailed through the serene morning sky, casting its life-giving warmth upon the world, the echoes of the harrowing journey through Duat still resonated within the hearts of the divine crew. The blinding brilliance of the day was a stark contrast to the suffocating darkness of the underworld. Yet the memory of Apophis, the embodiment of chaos, remained a potent, ever-present whisper. Ra, observing the bustling life below, felt a profound connection to the cycle of existence. He knew that the victory over Apophis was not an ending, but merely a temporary reprieve, a reassertion of order that would inevitably be challenged again. The struggle was eternal, woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. "The serpent sleeps," Ra spoke, his voice carrying the weight of ancient wisdom, "but it does not die. Its hatred for order, its hunger for annihilation are eternal. It waits in the deepest abysses, gathering its strength, plotting its return. Our vigilance must never wane." His radiant gaze, though benevolent, held a flicker of the intense fire he had wielded against chaos. Isis, her gaze distant, seemed to peer beyond the visible sky, into the hidden dimensions where cosmic forces played out their eternal drama. "Indeed, Lord Ra, Mad is not merely an absence of chaos, but a constant, active upholding of balance. Every prayer offered, every act of kindness, every truth spoken by humanity serves to strengthen the fabric of order, to make the Duat less receptive to Apophis's malice." She spoke of the symbiotic relationship between divine action and mortal faith. Thoth nodded, his brow furrowed in thought. The prayers of mortals are not simply acts of devotion. They are energetic currents, a subtle but vital reinforcement of Mad. They create a spiritual shield for your journey, Ra, both by day and by night. Neglect of Mad on earth weakens its hold in the heavens, making us all more vulnerable. Horus, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword, his eyes sharp, added, "Then our duty extends beyond defending the boat in Duat. It is to inspire humanity, to guide them towards Mad, so that their collective virtue fortifies the cosmos against the returning tide of chaos." His words reflected a deepening understanding of his own role, not just as a warrior, but as a guardian of cosmic truth. Bastet, though enjoying the sun, remained acutely aware. Her ears twitched, listening for sounds beyond the ken of mortals. "Even in the brightest sun, shadows cling," she purred, her voice a low growl. "My claws remain sharp, my watch unbroken. For the moment chaos stirs, I shall be ready." Set, surprisingly, offered a stark, brutal truth. The strength of chaos is its wildness, its refusal to be tamed. But the strength of order, as you embody, Ra, is its resilience, its ability to reforge itself from the brink of oblivion. Apophis forgets that. His words, though coming from a god of chaos, offered a strange form of reassurance, a testament to the inescapable cycle. Ra absorbed their words, feeling the truth in each. The journey of the sun was not merely a physical passage through the sky and the underworld. It was a perpetual act of will, a constant reaffirmation of Mad in the face of an endlessly regenerating chaos. Every dawn was a victory, but every sunset was a prelude to the next battle. The sun continued its majestic arc, but the memories of the night, the whispers of Mad, served as a constant reminder of the eternal struggle, a solemn vow for the cycle of sacrifice and salvation to continue endlessly. As the sun continued its magnificent arc across the sky, painting the heavens with hues of gold and azure, the manjet boat carried Ra and his divine retinue forward, a beacon of order in the vast cosmos. The day was a testament to the victory won, a symbol of life's renewal and Mad's unwavering reign. Yet, as the afternoon wore on, and the sun began its inexorable descent towards the western horizon once more, a profound understanding settled upon the gods. The cycle was truly eternal. Ra, his radiant gaze sweeping over the world, felt the familiar pull towards the western gate, the unseen portal to the Duat. He felt no dread, only the deep, ancient resolve of a god bound by his cosmic duty. The night's journey was not a punishment, but a sacred necessity, a testament to the universe's unending dance between creation and dissolution. The sun sets, not to die, but to journey, Ra declared, his voice a comforting rumble that filled the celestial air. To rest within the womb of Duat, to battle the primordial darkness, and to be reborn with each new dawn. This is the sacred rhythm of all existence, the promise etched in the stars for all eternity. Isis, her face serene, her hands subtly moving as she began to prepare the spells for the evening's transformation, spoke of the deeper meaning. Life is a cycle of beginnings and endings, Lord Ra. Just as the day yields to night and night to day, so too do souls journey through life, death, and rebirth. Your eternal passage guides them all, a cosmic blueprint for resurrection. Her words offered comfort, not just to the gods, but to the countless souls who awaited their own passage. Thoth, ever observing the grand tapestry of existence, offered his own wisdom. The balance of man is not static. It is a dynamic equilibrium, constantly challenged, constantly reaffirmed. Every act of righteousness on the earth, every victory against chaos in the Duat, strengthens this balance, ensuring the continuous flow of time and being. Horus, standing resolute, his youthful energy now tempered by the wisdom gained from the harrowing night, spoke with quiet determination. Then our vigilance is endless. Our defense of the light is our highest calling. For without your return, grandfather, there is no hope for rebirth, no renewal for the world. Bastet, her eyes gleaming with fierce devotion, coiled herself protectively at the base of Ra's throne. And we shall stand with you, Lord Ra, through every night, through every battle until the end of all things. For the light must always return. Even Set, his features hardened by the memory of the previous night's treachery and violence, nodded slowly. He understood the necessity of the cycle, the crucial role of darkness in defining the light. The void will always hunger, he rumbled, but the sun will always rise. Let the night come. We shall meet it once more. His acceptance, though grudging, was a powerful affirmation of the cosmic order. The sun touched the western horizon, painting the sky in a breathtaking farewell of fire and cloud. The golden manjet boat began its final, majestic descent, its form subtly shifting, preparing for its transformation into the Bastet. The world below prepared for slumber, unaware of the divine journey it had just witnessed, yet implicitly trusting in its inevitable return. The cycle was complete, yet it was also beginning anew. The sun prepared for its westward journey once more, a timeless dance of sacrifice and triumph, an eternal promise of light over chaos, forever engraved in the cosmic heart of man. The final sliver of Ra's brilliance dipped below the western horizon, and for a fleeting moment, the world held its breath in the deepest twilight. But unlike the profound dread that might have gripped ancient hearts, a quiet understanding now permeated the cosmos. The sun had not vanished into oblivion. It had merely begun its arduous, sacred journey through the hidden realms of Duat once more. Each dawn was not just a new day, but a fresh testament to the eternal vigilance of Ra and his divine retinue. Each sunrise was the triumphant cry of order over chaos, a renewal of Maat's delicate balance, a promise whispered across the waking lands that light, though challenged, would always return. The scars of the night's battle, though erased from the physical form of the Bastet boat, remained etched in the cosmic memory of the gods, a perpetual reminder of the foe that lay in wait. And so, the grand cycle continued. The sun would journey through the perilous hours of the underworld. Ra would face the consuming maw of Apophis, and with the combined might of his loyal companions and the sustaining power of man, he would once again drive back the serpent of chaos. He would be reborn as Khepri, the scarab pushing the sun into existence, and ascend once more from the eastern horizon, bathing the world in his life-giving glory. This was the enduring legacy of Ra's eternal journey, not just a narrative of power, but a profound understanding of existence itself. Life was a continuous ebb and flow, a sacred rhythm of birth, death, and rebirth. Order was not a static state, but a dynamic, active force, perpetually maintained by unwavering will and unified purpose against the ever-present threat of dissolution. The light would always find its way through the deepest darkness, and the world would forever turn towards the promise of a new dawn, a testament to the timeless triumph of the sun god and the enduring strength of man. The cycle would continue, forever and always, until the end of all things.